Hello, good morning, everyone. Um, I just want to do a quick sound check. I always do this before I start. If you can hear me, please just write something short in the chat just to see if everything is okay. Okay, all right, I see that everything is fine. Okay, so then I will start with the official part. Uh, so, good morning, everyone. My name is Ismar Hota, and I'm the product manager at Synology for the markets of Romania, Balkans, and Baltic countries. And I'll be your speaker today for the webinar that will cover Synology surveillance solutions. Maybe it was announced that somebody else would be there giving the speech today, but my colleague, unfortunately, is not feeling his best, so I'm replacing him. However, I believe you can see him. His camera is switched on. He's still there to support us and be present. So, Mihai Marcu, thank you for your effort today. Without taking much more of your time, I'm going to go into the agenda. Here you can see my name. In case you have difficulties remembering it and pronouncing it, it's a little bit different than what you might hear in Romania. I'm from Bosnia myself. And the agenda is going to cover these three general topics, but I'm going to try and bring this closer to everyday use and for you to understand why you would use Synology for surveillance, what are some of our surveillance products, and then I'm going to present you surveillance feature. Along the way, you'll see pricing, where you can buy, and so on. Should you have any questions while I'm presenting, feel free to post them in the chat, and then Mihai will help you in answering them along the way, and then at the end, if some are unanswered, I can also support you. So, as I said, first we will discuss why Synology, and the first thing that I'm going to do is I'll show you a very short video about Synology surveillance. It's going to be a video from YouTube that you can find also yourself. It's on our Synology main channel, so Synology HQ channel, and we'll start with that. It's less than 2 minutes, and then from there, I think it'll be easier for you to digest what I'm going to show today.
There are times when video surveillance can be really useful. When an important delivery goes missing. When you aren't sure what your loved ones are up to. When you're traveling or working and you want some peace of mind. Many so-called cloud surveillance solutions don't live up to expectations. Slow uploads to the cloud can lead to missed recordings or delayed notifications. Limited storage makes it impossible to review footage from last month unless you're paying extra, which could become extra since terms can change at any time. But with Synology, you can master your surveillance system by building a private cloud. Reliable, scalable, accessible storage on equipment you own and control. Synology NAS gives you a place to store and watch recordings, as many as you need, as long as you want, with no recurring fees. Because recordings aren't sent to the cloud first, you get faster, more complete recordings and notifications. Advanced features and smart analytics help you get real-time alerts when motion is detected and filter through days of footage to find the exact moment you're looking for. There's even a mobile app for on-the-go viewing to keep track of your home or business from anywhere on any device. Not to mention, it works with thousands of camera brands and scales to your needs. Plus, Synology's intuitive software is continuously evolving and getting better, so you can accomplish more. Store and share files, stream multimedia to your TV or smart devices, and more. Own your cloud and own your surveillance. Go further and get mastery with Synology.
So I hope that this kind of eases us into the topic, that we broke the ice, and that it'll be easier for you to understand what I'm going to talk about. So as you can see from the video, if you decide to use Synology NAS as your surveillance solution, you could see that it mentions stuff like privacy, stuff like affordability, but also today I want to discuss functionality. So when it comes to privacy, basically, you are the sole owner of your footage and of your equipment, so you can basically own and control all of the video that you would like to record. Also, we provide you direct and easy access to your footage, whether you are at home or whether you are located somewhere remotely over the internet. And of course, another advantage is that in case that there's some issue, actually governments, meaning the police and actual public institution, in some particular scenarios, they would be able to actually access public clouds. So, for example, if you are saving your footage in a public cloud, in some crazy scenario, when there's some issues, for example, uh, police would be able to access it before actually you give them any consent. When it comes to functionality, maybe this is still not clear entirely for everyone, but basically how this works is you use the Synology NAS, basically our box where you keep your storage, and you can add on a number of different cameras that you can find on the market by looking them up on the compatibility list on our website, which I'll show you also later today in a video. And then, as long as the camera is found on there, you can actually hook it up onto your network and set it up so that you use our Synology surveillance station, which is the application used for surveillance. And from there, you can then access these deep feature sets, and you can take advantage of the high performance of the device itself. When we talk about affordability, basically what we mean here is that Synology offers a one-time investment, and there's no additional fees for you to access your footage. So when we say no remote access fees, what we actually mean here is that since you are the sole owner, Synology has nothing to do with it. We are not the middleman here that provide you this service additionally. So once you purchase the device from us, meaning our NAS, then later on you can use it. One-time purchase with Synology also means that if you wish to use Synology surveillance, there's a license that actually needs to be purchased from the end user side. How this works is that if you are a home user and you would like to have up to 2 cameras, this will be free of charge, meaning that any cameras that you find on the market that are on the compatibility list or on VIF compatible for those who are more advanced. This means then that you can take these up to 2 cameras free of charge, and you can set it up, for example, in your home. Should you actually require more cameras, in that case, you should actually purchase these licenses that actually come in packs of 1, 4, and 8, and meaning this number shows you how many cameras can be added in this particular pack. For today's presentation, uh, participants, I'm actually going to share with you this presentation, and you will be able to see the link of the Romanian stores. So I have included this for you. And then in that case, if you're interested, you'll be able to see which partners actually work with us and where you can purchase these licenses. When it comes to the fees, depending on what you would like, the cost ranges between 250 to 1,680 lei, depending on whether you need 1 or 8 licenses. So this is here just to give you some idea of the cost of these licenses, should you actually be looking for more than 2 licenses. There's also some other devices that feature more than 2 licenses by default, and I'm going to show them to you today. So these can be seen as our NVR products. So when I say surveillance products, actually here I want to emphasize that every Synology NAS can be used for surveillance. So if you have at home even a small J model like 119, 120J or 220J, this can already be utilized as a surveillance solution. Me, myself, I actually at home have a 218J, so already an outdated and old model, and actually it works. I have a single camera, but it actually can work with up to 12 cameras. So I hope you now get an idea of how this hardware works. So in this part, I want to talk to you more about hardware selection. Then we are going to discuss more about these so-called special NVR models that we have. And then I'm going to present some deep learning NVRs and actually what they could be capable of in case if you are looking for more advanced features and so on. So when it comes to the hardware selections, as I said, you should actually use cameras that are listed on the compatibility list. And actually, our list is very comprehensive. You can actually go on the website and explore it. And you can turn on all sorts of filters according to your needs. And then secondly, if you are actually in need for a more than very basic surveillance deployment, you could use a tool called NVR Selector. And here you can offer your needs such as amount of storage, number of cameras, uh, number of frame rates, and so on. And then in that case, actually, the tool itself is like a wizard-like tool that will give you particular NAS models that you could use for your deployment. Also, it's a good recommendation if in case that you are looking for a more comprehensive surveillance solution and that you really need good storage in terms of archiving. Maybe you need it for a longer period of time. Then you should, and if you know that this need will grow over time, you should consider buying a stronger, more beefier NAS, for example, that will cater to your future needs. So essentially, to do some future proofing. Now, as I mentioned, I'm going to show you this demo, basically the video of what you can find on our website and how you can use it to select your camera, to find the compatibility list and so on. So allow me a moment and I'm going to show you this video. It's been pre-recorded by me, but to make it simpler today, I'll just show it as a video. Here's also just a diagram that shows you briefly how this actually works when you are setting this up. So should you have some IP cameras at home, for example, or if you bought some and you would like to hook them up onto the surveillance station, essentially connect them to your NAS, how it works is that you should take these IP cameras and connect them, for example, to a switch or to a router at home, and then you should find them and locate them in surveillance station application, and from there on you can do the setup. Should the cameras also support Wi-Fi, then in that case you can do it wirelessly, no need to connect it to any switch or router. Here, this may not be so important for home users, but if you are looking for a more complicated scenario, what you can actually do is set up individual recording servers, and then you can actually over the internet create a central management system, which is basically a single console which allows you to control different surveillance setups that you may have in different apartments, in different locations, and so on. This diagram shows very expensive and very big models. However, this actually works with all the devices. So should you have home user devices, devices that are usually more suitable for home needs, you will actually still be able to utilize all of these features and make this deployment. When it comes to the configuration and access towards the surveillance station, as it was already mentioned in the beginning in the video, you can actually access it from anywhere. But keep in mind that we work heavily in making our solutions secure. We have included privilege profiles, meaning that it's private and only you can have the access. And if you would like to share the access with somebody else, you can set up the levels of permissions, meaning what they can and what they cannot access. So this is also possible. Now I'm going to quickly show you the demo of the actual surveillance station. This is an older video, so it'll look different. If you access it today, it'll be similar, but the background will be dark. So we have now included the dark mode, but in this video that I'll show you, it's still without the dark mode. However, the functionality is all the same. So here you can see the interface of surveillance station. As you can see, different applications, timeline, live view, adding more licenses, smart time lapse, recordings, and so on. If I go into the IP camera, you will now be able to see essentially what this would look like. Here, let's say if I can add more cameras, you can add batches, you can create some rules and so on. So here is the general setup of the camera, some recording settings that you can change, scheduling, for example. So you can make it that it only records when there is motion detected. For example, you can have different streams to help save storage memory of your recording, and you can have some live view settings, like when you're seeing the live view, what it should show you in terms of resolution and so on. You can make optimizations, and here's the event detection that I mentioned. So now you can actually see the front door of my old apartment. This is where I used to keep the camera in the old apartment. So I was making sure that I see what's going on when somebody enters the door. As I said, also the licenses, you can see that there's 2 default licenses, meaning I can add up 2 cameras. And then you see license 1, 4, and 8. So should I need to add more licenses, I would click on add and just enter the license key that you can find on the license pack that once you purchase you would receive it. Here's just one more time for you to see the live view. And this is the most basic and essentials that you will probably need as a home user. Sorry. When it comes to using the phone, we also have an application called DSCam, and it works on iOS and Android devices. Once you install it and set it up, if you only have to use your login credentials that you have on your surveillance station, and once you do that, you'll be able to access your footage, create rules, make changes, and essentially do everything you would do directly on surveillance station through your phone. We are continuously also working on improving this application, so generally there's very frequent updates with adding many new cool features. Like I said, there is also some specialized products that are specifically used as NVRs for that have more licenses and actually are designed only for surveillance purposes. And today I'm going to show you the lineup and for you to have a better understanding on how you could actually utilize them at home. So there's the NVR 1218, which is fading out, but you might still be able to find it on different websites and stores in Romania. Essentially, this is a NAS that has an HDMI output, and its intended use is only for surveillance. It does not require any client, meaning you don't need a phone or a PC to do the live monitoring. You can do it directly. And in case that some of you are interested, it also supports point of sale. So basically, you can use it in a store for point of sale services. There's also a lineup called Visual Station. Basically, this is to be used as a client, as an intermediary device that will allow you to actually to control the surveillance station without utilizing a computer. So it's actually ideal for security companies, for example, or a TV wall setup where you don't want to use a computer or another client. However, it's not that popular for home users, but I thought that it was important for you to know what this device does. Maybe more interesting for us today is the deep learning in VR series. And at the moment, Synology has two devices. They are called DVA 1622 and DVA 3121. Basically, what is the difference between these devices and a regular NAS is that these devices are powered by increased graphics performance, and they feature a number of different artificial intelligence deployments and different features. So this means that you'll be able to utilize some uh, additional video analytical features that have been introduced into our lineup from 2 years ago. So today I'm going to present some of these features that you can actually use. So the first one is people counting feature, which means that if you utilize a people counting camera and you use any of these two devices that I mentioned before, you can actually uh, use a feature that it counts how many people have entered or exited a building. Uh, Usually we present this as a business scenario feature, but I can see a potential use also for home environments. If you have maybe a house, maybe you want to make sure to see how many people are walking around. your alley or something like that, just to improve your home security. I'll show you a video also of how this actually works. So you see here that it makes a count, and even if there's multiple people walking at the same time, it will figure out and count quite precisely. The second one is intrusion detection. So how this works is that you can make a virtual digital fence, and once somebody, for example, crosses this virtual line on the camera, it will send you a notification and so on. So I can see this utilized in a home scenario. For example, if you have a gate and you know that not many people are coming to your house unless they are your guests or unless they live in the house. So you can create an action rule that every time, for example, a mailman or a delivery guy comes towards your gate, that you get a notification. And of course, if it's not a mailman or a delivery guy, if it's somebody suspicious, then it can be very helpful in this scenario. Here's a quick so in this case, there's a digital fence if in case somebody comes close to the pier. So it could be a potential danger. Maybe if it's icy or slippery, or if it's a child, they fall into the water, for example. One more feature is no idle zone. So again, it's usually used for scenarios like parking lot and warehouses or fire escapes. But you could do similar again if you have a gate. If it's a frequent street, for example, you live on a main road and you have a house, what you can do is make it trigger a motion if somebody stands in front of your gate, for example, for a particular amount of time, let's say more than 2 minutes. It can give you notification saying, somebody standing right in front of your houses and not moving. So you could do similar like you would with the digital fencing, but not to get this false alarm triggered every time somebody walks by. If you live on a frequent street, this is how you could utilize this. Essentially, it would look like this. So you see, this is a patch of the junction that you should not block. And you see, once this car stops and stays there for enough time, then there is a motion triggered, which sends a response to the surveillance station. There's one more called here in the presentation called deep motion detection. So it's also useful if you have, for example, a camera that is recording continuously outside of your gate, not to get false responses, false triggers. For example, day-night changes that don't concern you. So you don't want to see motion detection every time that the sun goes up or down, for example. You don't want to see false motion detection, for example, when it starts raining or when it starts snowing, or for example, when a bird flies by. So you could actually deploy this feature called deep motion detection, and the AI will learn what is not important for you to continuously track. Uh, as of recently, there's also license plate detection. I, however, did not include this directly, as I didn't really see how this would be utilized in a home setting. It's actually more designed for example, for parking lots, for shopping malls, and so on. And you can actually incorporate the surveillance station and this artificial intelligence features, for example, with a door controller, so with a gate opener, for example. So once, for example, the person pays the parking, could read the plates and open the gate. But I thought I would at least mention it for you so that you know that this also exists. Another thing which you could not see in the agenda, but it's like a sneak preview, a little bit of a teaser, is that very soon Synology is going to introduce its own lineup of IP cameras. And these cameras will first come with these two devices. They're going to be called BC500 and TC500. We can expect them in the first half of this year. Both of these cameras are very similar in specs. They are 5 megapixel cameras with 110 degree angle viewing with 100 focal point. IP67 certified, meaning they can be used for indoor and outdoor purposes. They come with power over Ethernet as well as AC power connection, and they also have what is called edge AI, meaning that they can also utilize an SD card, and you'll see that you can also use some of these artificial intelligence features directly on the camera without having the need to purchase the expensive models that I mentioned, the DVA series, deep learning video analytic NDRs. These cameras have highlighted features like encrypted transmissions. You will be receiving continuous updates of the firmware from us. It can be very useful if you have a desire to go for Synology as the solution to have this one-stop management and support. So in case that you have a Synology camera, then you can just contact Synology support and take care of everything should some issues arise. The artificial intelligence features that these cameras have in them are smart person and vehicle detection. So you can do stuff like people counting. You can do all of the essentially all of the smart analytics that I showed you without the need to purchase DVA. And also they have an encrypted transmission, so they support HTTPS and SRTP. So I basically mentioned this. They will be plug and play. Also, it will be very easy for you to set them up in the surveillance station. There won't be any need for adding things and playing around with the configuration. It's going to just work by you hooking it up. They will start communicating directly with the NAS. Now, I also want to talk about some additional features and capabilities of our software. And I'm going to discuss here surveillance software, what is the advanced notifications. And also I want to mention something very new, something that is a novelty product still, and that came out very recently, and that is C2 surveillance. Essentially, what is C2 surveillance is it is an added layer of security, an added layer of protection in terms of backing up your camera footage. For example, in a scenario of theft or scenario of failure of the NAS, and you not being able to access your surveillance footage, you could actually utilize our C2 services. C2 services, for those of you who don't know, are Synology cloud services that use data centers in Europe that are located in Frankfurt, Germany. And if you wish to do so, what you can do is make a scenario and set up like this, where the camera footage is saved onto the NAS, and then additional second copy could be, if you desire, saved onto the C2 surveillance cloud. So I'm going to play again a quick video for you so that you can become familiar more with C2 surveillance and for your understanding. I'm going to again open up our YouTube. Just give me a moment.
Meet C2 Surveillance, our new service that helps keep your footage safe and sound. Working together with Surveillance Station running on your local Synology device, C2 Surveillance simultaneously saves a separate copy of the footage from your IP cameras, delivering it safe and encrypted. This way, you can retain access to important video records even if something happens to your NAS. And we've made it easy to sort through footage with filters for significant events, so that you can quickly export or share clips with others. C2 Surveillance is available in 2 subscription plans for you to pick from, giving you flexibility in resolution, retention, and recording method. By default, only videos from triggered events are stored, while our advanced plan adds continuous time-lapse recording. Whenever something happens, video footage is stored at full frame rates to assist with investigations. Easily add a C2 surveillance plan to any surveillance station installation for an extra layer of protection. Ready to get started? Check out the links in the description for more information.
So here is the plans that were mentioned, and here you can see the cost of them. So it starts from 8.99 euros per year per camera. So I would say that for home users this is already enough, and you can see it's not that big of an investment, and it gives you this added layer of protection. Should you need something more, like event and time lapse recording, for example, and in 1080p resolutions, then in that case, and 30 days recording, for example, then in that case it will cost more. And then there's also the professional plan with continuous recording, but I really think that this is more designed for companies. So as we come to an end, I'm going to do a short session recap, and we can review quickly the things that we mentioned today. So I'm going to focus on these 3 main points, and they are Synology advantages. So as I said, it comes down to privacy and the control of all of your surveillance deployments. This is our #1 unique selling point. And if you compare us to any other home solutions, you will see that in most cases, the other solutions are either way too expensive because they offer only surveillance. For example, competitors like Eufy or Arlo are very expensive if you want to only analyze it from the perspective that we offer surveillance as an add-on, and other things like photo station, like a multimedia manager, like keeping your archives, your storage, and so on, and also backing up your devices, making your personal backups, and so on. And on top of that, our surveillance actually works in all of these cases, or for all of the models, as an add-on. In When it comes to our pricing model, you saw that once you make a purchase, the licenses are yours to keep, and even in case that you decide to change the NAS, you can migrate these licenses, so they're literally buy once and keep on using forever. When it comes to the deployment, you have to understand that you need to focus on the compatibility list and select the cameras that are from the compatibility list. Uh, Keep in mind that this list of cameras is very, very extensive and comprehensive. There's over 8,500 different models on there with over 200 different vendors. On top of that, Synology cameras are coming out very soon, and you will see that utilizing them will even be simpler. And lastly, our selling point is the surveillance station, which is essentially our VMS, our video management software that utilizes smart features. You saw that there's even the centralized management console, the CMS, we call it, that allows you to have management and scalability across different locations should you require this. You can access it from anywhere in the world, over the internet, over the local network, over your iOS, Android devices, PCs, browser, and so on. And lastly, there's a comprehensive set of notifications, and depending on your needs, you can create the setup to your liking. So with this, I'm going to wrap up the session for today. And I want to thank you once again for your attendance and for your patience today. I hope you found the topic interesting and that we sparked some interest in you and that you will think about Synology as your potential surveillance solution. I see lots of interaction also in the chat. Um, Majority, I would say, is in Romanian. So unfortunately, I cannot do a lot of answering there, but I see that Mihai already wrote back to you the
Smart,
answers.
smart. There is a
Yep.
question about Google Home from Cezar Modog. Can you access the cams to Google Home? Is that
No,
possible
no.
to link?
Officially, there's no kind of approach how you can do it. There is a workaround. It's not very simple. You can find it on Synology forums. I know why this question came in. I am trying to do the same for my personal camera. I want to find a way to centralize something under Google Home platform and have everything in one platform. I know why this question is there. Uh, it's quite complicated and it is possible, but if the customer really wants to do it, they could do it with RTSP that I mentioned, protocol, and play around with it a little bit and probably get it to work. But unfortunately, out of the box, it does not work. Also, I know that there is no development for this going on at the moment, but being myself a fan of Google Home, I would recommend sending a feature request, and maybe if there's enough demand, then Synology development team will see the need to go in this direction. So with this, we can then wrap up, I would say. And as I said, this presentation is going to be on our YouTube channel. We will put together a thank you follow-up email, and we can share with you today's presentation that contains some important links that you can see for you to check out. We will try to summarize what we talked about today. And of course, if you still have additional questions, feel free to reach out to us. And with this, I wish you all a pleasant rest of the day and see you in the next one.
Mulțumim! La revedere!